You're listening to Money News with Ross Greenwood on 2GB. Thanks to Dodo Power and Gas. Call 13 Dodo to see how much you could save.
Welcome back to Money News right across the country. Great to have your company. I want to tell you about something that I think really is a great breakthrough for Australia. Now, you know about the real issues of, say, golden staph infections inside our hospitals. If you've ever known anybody who's had one, you know how purely horrible they are and how long they take to get rid of them. You would also know about the fact that even many of the traditional antibiotics to treat some of these, that in many cases they are becoming resistant to the strains of the antibiotics that the golden staph is evolving into. Well, it's interesting this. Last year, 1,621 hospital-acquired cases of the golden staph infection was basically happened in Australian hospitals. However, this is interesting. A collaboration between the CSIRO and a startup company called KayBan has developed the world's first antimicrobial healthcare range, made, strangely enough, from a very basic product. Now, I want to take you now to the CSIRO organic chemist who's been a part of this project, Dr Peter Dugan, who's on the line right now. Hello, Peter. How are you?
Hi, Ross. Thanks for the call.
That's quite okay. This, to me, sounds like an incredible breakthrough if it bears truth. I mean, how long have you been working on this?
We worked on it for a period of 6 months with KayBan, yeah.
So explain to me exactly what you came up with.
It was known that a particular component of flaxseed oil, alpha-linoleic acid, has excellent antimicrobial properties.
Hang on, back up. This is basic flaxseed oil that's been around for 1,000 years.
Correct. Yeah, even the stuff you put on your cricket bat.
Correct, that's what I'm thinking about. It's the stuff you put on your cricket bat, flaxseed oil. So yep. What was the property in it that was so valuable?
It has this component called alpha-linoleic acid, which is locked up chemically in the linseed oil, but it is known to have good antimicrobial properties. And the really clever idea of KayBan really was to use that antimicrobial in topical treatment. The problem with a lot of the common antiseptic hand washes and so on that are used in hospitals and so on, they're based on ethanol and they dry the skin out. Now, KayBan's really excellent idea was to use something that doesn't dry your skin out, this alpha-linoleic acid, to put the antimicrobial properties into the hand wash.
And so as a result, because your hands remain more moist with the properties of that alpha-linoleic acid on it, effectively that stays on your skin. And so as a result, you are more resistant to the golden staph infection, which doesn't kind of like this stuff.
Yeah, so it engenders the antimicrobial properties, but also keeps your skin moist and doesn't crack, which is the problem if you use a lot of ethanol-based hand washes.
Okay, and what happens if your skin cracks and dries out in that case? What happens? Are you more subject to the infection?
Yes, and just it's very uncomfortable and you can get dermatitis and all sorts of problems. I mean, that's not exactly my area of expertise, but that's my understanding.
Right, okay. So go back to the whole alliance between yourself and KayBan. How did that work?
So KayBan is a startup company that doesn't have any real scientific knowledge or they had this really good idea, but they couldn't put it into practice without consulting with scientists who could develop a manufacturing process for them. So what we did was we developed a industrially feasible process of releasing the alpha-linoleic acid from the flaxseed oil, because it's chemically locked in the flaxseed oil as it is. We were able to develop a way of releasing it and then concentrating it. And the process that we developed was then proved to be industrially feasible by the next manufacturer.
Wow, so this is quite incredible. Now, I mean, in terms of results, I noticed that Frank Palermo, the KayBan director, said Bio3Guardian, this is the product, was a better way for preventing the spread of infection. It doesn't actually kill it altogether, it just prevents the spread of it, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's my understanding, but I must admit that that's not exactly my area of expertise, but that's my understanding.
Okay, tell me one thing. How did you get enough of this particular oil or this particular property out of the flaxseed oil to make this commercially viable? Because I would have thought that would have been the prohibitive cost part of this.
Well, I don't think that the method we used is not prohibitively expensive, but it is a trade secret, so I can't.
It is a trade secret. That's interesting. But that was the trick, though, wasn't it? To be able to extract enough of this stuff to be able to then combine it with the substances that KayBan was using, and as a result, make it a topical treatment.
Exactly. We needed to produce an oil that had a very high percentage of alpha-linoleic acid in it, something like 80%, so that you could achieve those sort of antimicrobial properties, and that's what we were able to do.
Okay, so if, say, for example, this superbug led to 1,621 hospital-acquired infections a couple of years ago, is it too early to know whether the number could potentially be less if people were more constantly using this particular product?
Yeah, that's my understanding. This could, amongst other strategies, could reduce hospital-acquired infections, especially transferred on hands and so on.
Wow, gee, it's an amazing thing. It really is. I've got to say, the science of it is just fantastic for something that is so very basic at the first step, and for what is ultimately a very simple solution to at least a part of the problem, not necessarily all of the problems, I understand. And I've got to tell you, just terrific to talk to Dr Peter Dugan, CSIRO organic chemist, and that seems to be a real game changer, you'd have to think, for the spread of golden staph infection potentially. And I've got to say, Peter Dugan, we appreciate your time on the program tonight.
Thanks very much, Ross. Great talk to you.